What's going on? If you are here right now, it's because you are frustrated in your life. So stay tuned for more spiritual freedom and check out this intro that I've designed. This is me beatboxing and this is me humming. I hope you enjoyed that intro talking about how to be spiritually free, talking about how to use medicinal alchemy, right? Your own versions of medicine and exercise science. That's kind of what you can expect here on this channel. With that being said, I wanted to bring this right back full center. I want to give you 3 reasons, 3 ways that you can start using your frustrations that you experience in your everyday life to start working for you, okay? Number 1, you got to kill the story. You have a story right now that's running in your head. I know you do because we all do. That needs to die. You need to transform from this moment, okay? And how do you identify that story? Really, it's quite simple. It's the one that keeps playing over and over and over again. And the next 2, and steps 2 and step 3 is going to start helping you how to overcome that frustration. But before there, I want to give you a background story that I'm going to be able to keep referring to. So playing basketball growing up, right, I had this story that like I just wasn't good, right? I used to have people tell me that I wasn't good. And I started to agree with that story. And eventually that agreement with the story turned into more frustration. Why? Because that agreement that I accepted, the story I accepted, you know? It may have been put on me, but I accepted that story, which created more frustration. It started to calcify. That agreement started to calcify, and eventually I was in a contract. I was locked, I signed my name on the dotted line, bound to be forever frustrated until I wanted to go ahead and rip up that contract. So today you can be assured that you're going to be able to rip up that contract by killing the story. And for me, that story was that I wasn't really good at basketball, that I was just a defensive player, just a supporting cast, but never the guy that could be the guy. And the reality is, it wasn't true. It just wasn't true, you know? I used to always have my cousin. He really was the person that taught me how to play basketball. He was always telling me like, yo, Pete, take the shot. Yo, Pete, stop hesitating. Yo, Pete, you're better than that. Yo, Pete, why you keep passing the ball? And I used to always pass the ball because I thought that my role was to be a playmaker, really always just making everybody else look good. And yes, I do have that ability, and I got really good at it because of how much time I spent being frustrated. And the frustration in this particular moment, this story came from, I was better than that. I was better than that. Literally, like I'm talking like number 1 guy better than that, because as I grew and the years went beyond, especially like in California, I was around a whole new set of people, not the friends I grew up with. That story was different. I was able to rewrite that story, and I was the best. And I didn't lose games. And it's just something where I never lost games. The only time I realized I lost games was when I was just not really diving into my ability to lead, not only a team, but myself. To not dive into the ability of trusting myself, my instincts, and how good I really was, instead of banking the feedback of other people on how good I was or how good I wasn't. That caused more frustration in my life. So that was part of the story that I had going on, that I was just a playmaker and a defensive player. But the reality was like, I was freaking talented. And when I got away from my initial friends group, my initial circle of friends, that frustration started to subside, because now it's like I didn't have anybody that knew me anymore, right? Nobody knew me. I'm in a new environment. So kill the story. Okay, take that agreement that eventually, when you don't take care of it, turns into a contract, and go ahead and rip that up. All right. Number 2, to assess the emotions, assess the feelings that you have objectively, okay? Without personal feelings, without allowing the assumptions to get in the way, all right? This is going to be your mission. This is my challenge for you right now. My challenge for you is to think about one of these stories that you have, one of these stories that you have agreed to in your life that's frustrating you, and try to take a moment to just assess the emotions. Stay still. Don't panic, okay? It's not a bad thing to take some time to wonder, how are you feeling, to wonder why you feel like you suck, right? Like, you know, it's okay. You don't want to stay there, okay? That's when they're going to cause more frustration. You don't want to stay in the past. You don't want to stay in these shadows. But to ignore the past, to ignore the shadows as if it doesn't exist, as if it's not a part of your DNA, a part of what helped build you to be as confident as you're going to be by the end of this video, then, you know, you're doing yourself and you're doing everybody else a disservice. Recognizing that emotion is energy in motion, and those emotions are signals, nothing else. If you're angry, if you're frustrated, it's just a signal. What's making me angry? Why am I frustrated? Okay? And to do that objectively, to do that without trying to beat yourself up. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's nothing really wrong with just having a tough moment of beating yourself up and saying like, I could have did better. Like, look, great. Yeah, obviously we know, you could have did better. But accept that as it's fine. Leave it right there. Don't keep playing with it so that you can use that repressed energy to help you move forward, okay? To allow that frustration to start pushing you from behind rather than continue to stand in front of you. All right, so that's my number 2 for you. Be more objective. Stop allowing your personal feelings to inhibit and impede your progress, all right? From moving from a place of frustration to just flourishing, right? My last and my third one for you is to just be empathetic with how great you really are, right? In Greek, pathos is feeling. So empathos, empathy is just in feeling. All right. So when you take that step 2 about your feelings, you know, go ahead and start validating your own existence, right? Look at what may have made you frustrated. Think about why you may have been frustrated. And after you had killed that story, you get to recreate the story, right? You get to recreate what made you frustrated into that superpower to go ahead and move forward. And I feel like it takes empathy for yourself. Not for people outside of you. It takes empathy for yourself to recognize and accept that you're as good as you think you are. And when you have that empathy for yourself, here's really the third one, along with empathy. You know, you now have an opportunity. You ready for this? Take a deep breath. Please, take one more with me. Here's the last one, because you notice you get to have your heart rate and your mind to start to sync, and as it becomes more coherent, you are able to see that at any point you can shift your emotion, you can shift the energy to have a clear mind, to have an open heart, to accept who you are, and not let that frustration hold you anymore, not let it bind you to a story that needed to die, whether it was a week ago, 3 months ago, or too many years, to start to, again, like I said before, push you from behind. Frustration does not run your life. Frustration is just yet again another emotion, another signal that is telling you how to move forward, and it's giving you an opportunity to say, hey, look, this thing that bothers you, that makes you angry, frustrated, or feel wrath and pain and just a hindrance in your life, you get to rewrite that story, and you get to be the new hero of this story. You get to go ahead and be number 1. You get to say, no, look, I have the ability to be a playmaker. I have the ability to be a passer. I have the ability to be the best defender. And you know what? I am. But I'm also much more than that. I'm a scorer as well. I win as well. What the heck? Oh. Look at that. Even my phone was like, you know, you feel like you look at somebody sideways because you know they know, and you know that they know, and they know that you know. That's that frustration saying, take a turn. You no longer belong in this avenue. And so just like this right now, this is a prime example. You know, roll with the punches, baby. Roll with the punches. You have the ability. You got the juice. You just got to have enough empathy for yourself before you have empathy for other people to accept that you got the juice. You got the flame. The torch is in your hands at all times, and you have to give that torch away. But because you gave that torch away, you can take that torch back at any point. And it's time to take the torch into your own hands. It's time to validate your own existence, your own dimensional presence, a presence that has many elements, not just, I'm just a defensive player, I'm just a passer, I'm just a playmaker, but you're a winner. You can score, you can jump, you can rise to the top. You have the juice. I believe in you, but that's never going to be enough. You need to believe in yourself. These are my 3 tips for you that I want you to go ahead and take home. Okay? Once you subscribe to that channel, turn my neck on you again, is to go ahead and accept that you need to kill the story. Okay? Stop panicking. You know, there's no good that's gonna come from you panicking about your frustration. You get to kill the story. Step 2, you know, go ahead and dive into those feelings. Take a second to assess objectively, without the personal feeling, without the assumptions, you know, where you are in your life right now, and recognize that you don't want to stay here and it's time to move forward from frustration. Frustration doesn't have to control you, all right? You have to allow that frustration to control you. And then step 3, to just validate your own dimensional presence, just to accept and be like, you know what, I'm there. You feel me? Like, I'm there. I'm number 1. I'm number 1 in my life because it's my life. And no one can tell me that I'm not number 1. But not only that, I'm going to act. I'm going to behave. I'm going to dress. I'm going to smell. I'm going to live like I am number 1. I'm going to believe it. I'm going to act that way until I fully believe it. If I don't believe it up front, I'm going to behave like number 1. This is my message for you right now. Please, again, like, subscribe, check in with this channel. I thank you for sharing this, especially if you found value. You know somebody in your life right now that's frustrated and you feel like this can add value to their life, send it their way. Pernell Bobby checking in. I'm checking back out.